I'm Clarence Horton. Thank you for joining us for another historical moment in the history of Cabarrus County. We're here at Poplar Tent Presbyterian Church, Cabarrus County, in the Rocky River region. Historians tell us that the first settlers came to this region in the late 1730s, although most came in great companies in the 1740s. They were Irish people from the Ulster region of Northern Ireland, and history often refers to them as Scotch-Irish because of their Scottish ancestry. It's probably more accurate to call them Ulster or Irish Presbyterians. They were fiercely independent people, and they came to this region to find a new life, to govern themselves, and to be able to educate their children in their own faiths. They were fiercely independent. Professor R.D.W. Connor's description of the Scotch-Irishman is a classic one. He was loyal to his own kith and kin, he wrote, but stern and unrelenting to his enemies. He was brave, and he loved the stir of battle. Before sanctuaries were built, our early pioneers worshiped outdoors, especially in warm weather. It was not unusual for services to be held under great oaks and elms or under rude brush arbors which they constructed. One of the early ministers to preach in this area, Reverend John Thompson, preached under the shade of a great poplar tree according to church tradition, and it's that poplar tree which gave Poplar Tent Church its name several years later. The third Poplar Tent sanctuary was built in about 1850 or 1851 in the Greek Revival Temple form, which was in fashion during those days. The beautiful Rocky River Colonial Sanctuary was built in about 1860. The galleries in both churches remind us of those antebellum days when enslaved members of the congregation worshiped together with their masters. The ancient and well-tended cemeteries here at Poplar Tent Presbyterian and at Rocky River Presbyterian churches are treasure troves for those searching for their ancestors and for those historians who are interested in the history of the Hornet's Nest during the Revolutionary War period. Buried here at Poplar Tent Cemetery is Reverend Hezekiah Balk, who served Poplar Tent from 1769 through 1776 when he died. Reverend Balk was one of a committee who authored the disputed Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence in 1775. A plaque on the Poplar Tent church wall honors 5 members of the congregation who signed the Mecklenburg Declaration: Benjamin Patton, John Pfeiffer, David Reese, Zacchaeus Wilson, and Robert or Richard Harris. The original declaration and associated papers were lost to a fire in 1800, and the authenticity of the Mecklenburg Declaration continues to be disputed. In 1861, however, the state of North Carolina proudly placed the date of its completion on the state flag. Those who come to Poplar Tent Presbyterian Church for its famous annual barbecue may not be aware that in her ancient cemetery lie soldiers and patriots who, through their sacrifice and devotion, forged the history of the Rocky River region and of that special place which became Cabarrus County. Early Presbyterian historians wrote that during the Revolutionary period, in all the Rocky River region, not a single Tory was known to exist. The foundations of our modern educational system are also found in these early churches. The Presbyterians and their German neighbors to the east educated their young men in church schools taught by pastors and sometimes by visiting schoolmasters. Presbyterians taught in session houses, such as the one behind me here. J.W. Cannon, one of our early textile magnates, was educated in the old session house at Sugar Creek Presbyterian Church in nearby Mecklenburg County. In 1810, the legislature allowed the establishment of academies here at Rocky River and at Poplar Tent Presbyterian for the education of young men. There were educated future civic leaders, doctors, lawyers, teachers. 3 governors attended those schools. On that basis is built our modern educational system of which we're so proud. That the doors of these old churches are still open and that their congregations continue to prosper are tributes to the strong religious heritage of those who first came and settled here and have served as a firm beginning for more than 300 churches of every denomination which serve the people of Cabarrus County. As our generation begins to enter the trackless wilderness of a new century, we can look for guidance to those who first came here, to those who taught us that we must live free and educate our children in our own faiths. We can look for courage to those who came here with only a few personal possessions and books of devotion and built homes here in the forest. We can give no greater gift to our children than to teach them about the precious heritage of the past and the unlimited opportunities of their future. Thank you for joining us for another historical moment. We hope that you will give us your comments, your suggestions, your ideas for future moments. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you again.